Hey everyone, welcome back to Nature's Blueprint. Today, we're tackling the one thing that underpins everything in the garden. Your soil. I see so many gardeners getting bogged down with complex soil amendments, pH testing kits, and backbreaking double digging. We've been conditioned to think that more work equals better results, but when it comes to soil, that's just not true. The truth is, we often overcomplicate it. We try to force our will on the soil, when the real secret is stepping back and letting nature do what it does best. It's about creating the right conditions and then letting the billions of microorganisms, fungi and worms do the heavy lifting for you. So, what if I told you that you could build incredible living soil with less effort than you're putting in now? What if the key was actually being a little bit lazy? If your plants are struggling, your soil is probably just tired. And here's how to revive it the lazy way. I've put together 5 super simple, game-changing steps that will breathe life back into your garden beds. These aren't complicated scientific formulas. They're easy, practical hacks that mimic natural processes. They require minimal effort, minimal time, and will give you soil that is teeming with life, holds moisture better, and grows healthier, more resilient plants. We're going to walk through each of these 5 steps together. I'll show you exactly what to do and, more importantly, what not to do. By the end of this video, you'll have a clear, actionable plan to transform your tired, compacted soil into a rich, fertile foundation for your garden. No more fighting with your soil. It's time to start working with it, so grab a coffee, get comfortable, and let's dive into the art of lazy soil building. Alright, let's start with hack number 1, and it's probably the most important one on this list. Stop digging so much. I know. For generations, we've been told that tilling, turning, and double digging our soil every season is the right thing to do. We think we're loosening it up, aerating it, and mixing in amendments. But what we're actually doing is destroying an intricate, delicate ecosystem that has been building itself right under our feet. Think of the soil as a bustling underground city. It's home to a complex web of life. Beneficial bacteria, mycorrhizal fungi, earthworms, and countless other microorganisms that form a soil food web. When you plunge a shovel or a rototiller into the ground, you're causing the equivalent of an earthquake. You're tearing apart the fungal networks that act like a superhighway for nutrients and water. You're exposing beneficial microbes to killing sunlight and air, and you're destroying the natural soil structure that creatures like earthworms have worked so hard to build. These little burrows and tunnels are what allow air and water to penetrate deep into the ground. Every time you dig, you're hitting the reset button on all of that incredible natural work. So the lazy and smarter approach is to put the tiller away. So what do you do instead? It's simple. At the end of the season, when a plant is finished, just cut it off at the soil line. Leave the root system in the ground. Those roots will slowly decompose, creating channels for air and water, while providing a delicious feast for the microbes and worms. This process feeds the soil food web and adds organic matter exactly where it's needed, deep in the ground. All you need to do is clear the dead plant material from the surface. And that's it. You're preserving the soil's structure and letting nature's decomposition cycle work for you, not against you. It's less work, and it's infinitely better for your soil's long-term health. Our second lazy hack builds directly on the first. Since we're no longer tilling, how do we get all that good organic matter, our compost, our amendments, into the soil? The answer is beautifully simple. We don't. We let someone else do it for us. Think about how a forest floor works. Nobody is out there with a shovel digging in fallen leaves and decomposed wood. Instead, leaves, needles, and branches fall onto the surface, forming a layer of organic material. Over time, rain, insects, worms, and microbes break it all down and pull those nutrients deep into the soil. We're going to mimic that exact process in our gardens. Your new job is not to be a soil mixer, it's to be a soil feeder. All you have to do is add your organic matter directly to the top of the soil. I'm talking about a nice 1 to 2 inch layer of finished compost, shredded leaves, aged manure, or grass clippings. Just spread it evenly across the surface of your garden bed. That's it. You don't need to dig it in, you don't need to till it, you don't need to mix it. Your only task is to lay down the feast on the surface. Once you've put down that layer, the magic begins. The earthworms, beetles, and other critters will come up from below to grab that tasty organic matter and drag it down into their burrows. As they move up and down, they are doing the tilling for you, aerating the soil, creating channels for water, and distributing nutrients perfectly throughout the soil profile. The microbes on the surface will also get to work, breaking down the material and releasing a slow, steady stream of nutrients for your plants. You're essentially outsourcing all the hard work to 1 billion tiny garden helpers who do the job far better than we ever could with a shovel. Okay, let's talk about watering. This is one area where, honestly, a little bit of lazy thinking can save you water, time, and your soil's health. When soil gets really dry and compacted, which, by the way, often happens in tired, overworked gardens, it can become hydrophobic. That means it actually repels water. You've probably seen this before. You turn on the hose, and the water just beads up and runs right off the surface instead of soaking in. The common reaction is to just blast it with more water, but that usually just causes erosion and runoff, wasting water and failing to hydrate the soil where the roots actually are. The lazy, smart solution is to mimic a gentle, soaking rain. Instead of one long, heavy watering session, we're going to water in short, repeated bursts. Turn on your hose or soaker system for just 5 or 10 minutes, just enough to moisten the very top layer of soil. Then, turn it off and walk away. Go pull a few weeds, check on your tomatoes, or just relax for about 30 minutes. This waiting period is crucial. It gives that initial bit of water time to break the surface tension and start slowly percolating downward. After that break, come back and water again for another 5 to 10 minutes. This time, you'll notice a huge difference because the surface is already damp, the soil is now ready to accept more water, and it will absorb it much more deeply and evenly. You can repeat this cycle 2 or 3 times until the soil is properly hydrated several inches down. This pulse watering method ensures deep moisture penetration, encourages deep root growth, and prevents wasteful runoff. It feels like more steps, but it's actually less active watering time, and it's far more effective for reviving tired, thirsty soil. A healthy soil is a living soil, and for soil to be alive, it needs to be fed. The primary food source for that underground ecosystem? Living roots. The roots of plants exude sugars and carbohydrates, what scientists call exudates, that are basically liquid sunshine piped directly underground. This is the fuel that powers the entire soil food web. So when we leave our garden beds bare and empty over the fall and winter, we're essentially starving that entire ecosystem. The microbes go dormant or die off, the worms dig deeper, and the soil structure starts to degrade. This is why your soil can feel so dead and compacted in the spring. The lazy gardener's solution is to never leave the soil naked. We want living roots in the ground for as many days of the year as possible. The easiest way to do this is by planting cover crops. These aren't crops you plan to eat. Their job is simply to protect and feed the soil. Things like crimson clover, hairy vetch, winter rye, or even oats are fantastic options. They are incredibly easy to grow. You literally just scatter the seeds over the surface of your bed in the fall, rake them in lightly, and let the autumn rains do the rest. These crops will grow through the cooler months, their roots continuing to pump out those valuable exudates, keeping your soil life happy and active. They also act as a protective green blanket, preventing winter rains from compacting the soil or washing away your precious topsoil. Then in the spring, you simply cut them down before they set seed and leave the foliage on the surface to act as a mulch. You can plant your summer crops directly into it. It's a simple, hands-off way to keep your soil ecosystem thriving year-round, ensuring that when you're ready to plant, your soil is already alive, active, and ready to go. Our final hack is perhaps the most intuitive and one of nature's most fundamental rules: always keep the soil covered. Bare soil is a vulnerability. It's exposed to the baking sun, which kills off surface-level microbial life. It's battered by rain, which leads to compaction and erosion, and it's a perfect place for weed seeds to land and germinate. A layer of mulch is like a protective blanket for your soil, and it's a lazy gardener's best friend. It solves multiple problems at once with one simple action. So, what should you use? You don't need to buy expensive bags of dyed wood chips. The best mulches are often free. Shredded fall leaves are my absolute favorite. They're a perfect balanced material that breaks down beautifully. Straw, not hay, which is full of seeds, grass clippings from an untreated lawn, wood chips, or even pine needles are all fantastic options. The goal is to apply a thick layer anywhere from 2 to 4 inches deep across all of your bare soil. Make sure to pull it back just a little bit from the stems of your plants to prevent rot. This layer of mulch does so much for you. First, it dramatically reduces water evaporation, meaning you'll have to water far less often. Second, it smothers and prevents most weed seeds from ever seeing the light of day, saving you hours of backbreaking work. And third, just like the compost we talked about earlier, it slowly breaks down over time, constantly feeding the soil food web and building new rich topsoil from the top down. It's a simple, set-it-and-forget-it task that pays massive dividends in soil health, water retention, and weed suppression. It's the final piece of the lazy gardening puzzle. So, there you have it. 5 simple, low-effort ways to completely revive your garden soil. We've learned to stop disturbing the ground, to feed the surface, to water smarter, to keep roots in the ground, and to always keep the soil covered. Notice a pattern here? Every single one of these steps is about doing less, not more. It's about stepping back from the mindset of control and instead becoming a partner with the natural systems that are already in place. This isn't neglect. It's intentional, observant, lazy gardening. You're letting nature do the work for you, and the result will be healthier soil and more resilient plants than you've ever had before. Building great soil doesn't have to be a chore. It's a long-term process, but by using these hacks, you're setting up a self-sustaining system that gets better every single year, with less and less input from you. That's the real goal, right? A beautiful, productive garden that doesn't demand all of your time and energy. If you found these tips helpful and want more simple, nature-driven gardening advice, make sure you hit that subscribe button to join us here at Nature's Blueprint. We're all about working smarter, not harder. And finally, if you have a friend or family member who's feeling overwhelmed by their garden and struggling with their soil, do them a favor and share this video with them. Let's spread the word that a healthy garden is within everyone's reach, and it starts by letting nature take the lead. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Happy gardening!